Welcome to Below the Forest Floor. My name is Nancy, and today's episode is going to be about the hauntingly beautiful cryptid of the sea, mermaids. Whether you believe in this fantastical creature or not, you must admit it is quite strange that cave paintings from the Paleolithic era or the Stone Age period exists of them. That was 30,000 years ago. The Paleolithic era was around the time that hunting and gathering first started, which led some of these Stone Age people toward the sea, where they may have encountered the first mermaids. It's also quite extraordinary that so many societies around the world wrote myths and stories about these creatures. You can find stories of mermaids in the Odyssey, which was written in the 8th century, where they were known as sirens in this form and lured men to their deaths. These days, mermaids are a little less scary. They've become extremely popularized in childhood favorite cartoons and stories of red-headed sea women. But they haven't always been depicted this way, as you've heard earlier with the whole man-eating situation. One of the oldest known stories of mermaids first appeared in 1000 BC. The goddess Atargatis, mother of Assyrian queen Semiramis, loved a mortal, a shepherd, and unintentionally killed him. Ashamed, she jumped into a lake and took the form of a fish. But the waters would not conceal her divine beauty. Therefore, she took the form of a mermaid. Human above the waist, fish below. Of course, stories like this have led people to believe that they've seen mermaids when they've actually seen other things, like, let's say, manatees, for example. So a lot of people who do claim to see mermaids are often just shrugged off and people say, oh, you just saw a manatee. Even though some people swear that they've seen the real thing. For example, a man named Shlomo Cohen in Israel said, I was with friends when suddenly we saw a young woman laying on the sand in a weird way. At first I thought she was just another sunbather, but when we approached, she jumped into the water and disappeared. We were all in shock because we saw that she had a tail. This was as early as 2009. Although these young men saw what they thought was a half woman, half fish, not all mermaids have been described as beautiful women. Some of them have been described as horrible monsters. The monster is tall and of great size and rises straight out of the water. It had shoulders like a man, but no hands. No one has ever observed it closely enough to determine whether its body had scales like a fish or skin like a man. Whenever the monster has shown itself, men have always been sure that there was a storm to follow. Unfortunately, when these stories first started back in the 13th century and before then, people tried monetizing this whole mermaid situation. And they would take actual sea creatures like rays and they would carve them to make them look like mermaids. If you've ever seen a manta ray, the belly side part of it, it looks like it has a face on that side. Eventually this hoax was debunked, but it stayed very popular up until the 19th century, where these bodies of these creatures were being displayed even at circuses. After that hoax was debunked, people tried to get a little smarter about how they were portraying their mermaids that would make them seem more realistic. Enter the Fiji mermaid, which was an attraction that was exhibited at the P.T. Barnum Museum in 1842. People believe that this mermaid that was on display was created by Japanese sailors as a joke. Even people who have made it into the history books have seen mermaids. One colonizer by the name of John Smith reportedly saw a mermaid and may or may not have found her attractive. According to SmithsonianMagazine.com, no one was able to directly write John Smith's quote because it was before 19th century literature existed. People do claim that this is the quote that he said when he saw the mermaid. Swimming with all possible grace near the shore, the upper part of her body resembled that of a woman. She had large eyes, rather too round, a finely shaped nose, a little too short, well-formed ears, rather too long, and her green hair imparted to her an original character, by no means unattractive. But from below the waist, the woman gave way to the fish. Although a lot of people really do believe that mermaids still exist, science does have a few questions for those people wondering what they would look like. Some people believe that maybe they exist, but they're just really, really, really far down in the ocean to the point where people wouldn't be able to see them. Well, some people would argue that due to science, mermaids would not look traditional in how people have depicted them because, as you all may know, when you go deep enough underwater, it gets really, really cold, and creatures that live down there are a bit on the larger side, especially if this was a human-type creature. To stay under that much cold water for long periods of time, you would need some kind of mass on your body to protect you. So, if mermaids did exist, and they were that far down below, they may not look like what you would be expecting. Some even speculate that they may look closer to the mermaid that you've seen in Cabin in the Woods. And if any of you have seen that mermaid, you know what I'm talking about, because that thing is scary. I still remember the fear I felt in my heart when I saw it doing what it was doing. Oh my gosh. Well, no spoilers here. I'll let you guys see what it looks like for yourself. Although the existence of mermaids is still highly controversial and up for debate in many communities, I do know one thing for sure. They have a home here with us, below the forest floor. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Our new upload days are going to be Saturday mornings, so stay tuned and keep an eye out for new uploads every Saturday. And next week, I hope you join us when we talk about real-life hauntings that myself and my family have experienced. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next week. Bye!